Okay, I call to order the Wickliffe City Council meeting of November 23rd, 2020. Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Present.
Gerhardstein,
Here.
Jaworski,
Here.
Koski,
Here.
Levon,
Here.
Sakis,
Here.
Soloto.
Here.
Approval of council minutes. Let's turn your volume.
I
Do we
make
need
a
a
motion,
motion?
we accept the minutes.
Ed, do we need a motion to allow Randy to abstain?
Well, I guess we do. What time we withdraw them?
I withdraw. I withdraw that motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion to allow Councilman Gerhardstein to abstain from voting on the meeting minutes of November 9th.
Second.
Moved by Council President Levon, seconded by Councilwoman Saloto to allow Councilman Gerhardstein to abstain from voting on the meeting minutes of November 9th. Discussion. Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Yes.
Gerhardstein,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Koski,
Yes.
Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Soloto.
Yes. Option.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Koski, seconded by Councilman Sakis to approve the meeting minutes of the November 9th, 2020 meeting as presented. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Yes.
Gerhardstein,
Abstain.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Koski,
Yes.
Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Soloto.
Yes.
Reports and communications from the Mayor, Safety Director.
Yes, good evening. Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, Council and members of the audience. COVID update, every city at this point, including us, has several employees out due to either testing positive themselves or having a family member who has tested positive and they're quarantining. So, we're working through it, staying quarantined when necessary and limiting interactions to the public as much as possible. With that, you may have seen one of my emails last week. Public meetings are allowed to stay by a virtual setting through the first half of 21 at this point. That obviously could change. Premier Development Property is getting more activity. They will have an open house soon. They said sometime between now and the end of the year. I'll inform council when I have that information. The concrete work at Colby Aquatic Center, there is legislation on tonight's agenda for work to begin. Councilman Jaworski will give his report regarding the recent Euclid Avenue redevelopment meeting. And again, I'll urge council to just keep moving forward and please allow the administration to engage with the firm they selected. Small Business Saturdays this week. I encourage council to pick one or two businesses, promote them on your social media pages or in their social groups, and not just this Saturday, but over the next few weeks leading up to the Christmas. We only have a handful of retail businesses, especially. Let's make sure to promote them and support them the best we can. The directors and I were discussing sewer bills last week, and after those heavy rains, our bills increased drastically. With that, I requested Engineer Formica to provide council and myself with a quote for a smoke test on the sewers and storm drains, which would help find any infiltration. Both Mr. Formica and Strasser can attest this is where preventative maintenance should be taking place, and just something to think about for the capital budget for next year. If we still end the year on a very positive note, which I think we should, and there's time to do some of this testing, I'd say we even put a couple $100,000 towards this testing and then said repairs. So that's all I have, Mr. President. Thank you so much.
Any questions or comments from the Mayor, Safety Director? Councilman Sakis.
Hello, Mayor. So I just wanted to make mention that all council, we have all formed relationships with administrators so that when there's an issue or a problem, we can work fast to get the problem solved so we can move on to the next issue. So I guess what I'm saying is there's an email that went around to the administration saying that if there's an issue that council has and has to call an administrator, that it needs to go through you first. And I just feel like it's a little waste of time or micromanaging, or why would you want those relationships diminish? I just didn't understand that why, and we have a pretty good system how it works with council administrators to get things done. So when I saw this email, I was a little taken back. That's all.
Well, Joe, I mean, I'm a little taken aback that you couldn't have picked up the phone and called me and rather than waited. I think that email went out 2 weeks ago.
So
And
I saw it today.
trying to be,
Saw it today.
okay, got it. Well, okay, so didn't know that, but nonetheless, this email went out maybe a week and a half ago, and it's in regards to the day-to-day operations of the city. The email was pretty specific. It didn't say to ignore council, but if it had something to do with day-to-day operations, placement of a speed sign, for example, as I communicated with council, council is supposed to be the liaison between the city and the administration. So to try to keep a smooth flow of communication, from what I understand, the past couple of meetings, that council wants to work with the mayor and have a good relationship. So I've actually increased my communication with council, and I don't feel you guys have done the same. So in my mind, the hierarchy should go: council communicates with the mayor communicates with the directors. What I don't want happening is I get complaints about speeding and talk to Ron about it to put the sign up. Joe gets a complaint and sends Ron a message. Maria gets a complaint and sends Ron a message. Then instead of one person communicating with Ron about the issue, there's 3 people, which is wasting more time. So it was no slight to council. Again, I'm really taken aback you felt the need to bring this up after my report instead of responding to an email, picking up the phone. You talk about these relationships and you pick up the phone and call me and talk through it. It was no slight to council. It was about things that are in the control of the mayor's office and the administration for day-to-day operations, placements of signs, etc. So if you want to talk more, but I'm not going to go back and forth on a Zoom call.
No, that's fine.
Phone conversation, but
When there's an issue with speeding or anything like that, I go straight to Chief Ice. And then he lets me know whenever that sign's available. It's kind of that. I get what you're saying, but we shouldn't go to the mayor. We go straight to the administration. You're not our boss, John. We go.
And again, I'd appreciate it if council didn't do that. These directors shouldn't be listening to 8 people when it comes to things like speed signs, for example. You guys are making a huge deal about these speed signs. I mean, I'm moving them around the city. They're going to be there every week. The police chief, and I communicate with most directors every day, 3, 4, 5 times a week as needed, and trying to streamline communication. So, I mean, again, if there's an issue, let me know and we'll handle it. But I think you're taking the email the wrong way, to be honest. So I apologize if it was misinterpreted that way, but it wasn't meant to be to cut anybody out.
I wasn't the only councilman. That's why I brought it up now. It was other members that had the same concerns.
Councilwoman Slow.
Sorry. I just saw the email today too, and I do have to say, I understand, Mayor, that you like everything to go through you, and you want to know each and everything that happens. And I totally
It wasn't everything. I just want to clarify before you go on. It wasn't everything. It was about day-to-day operations.
Right.
John, let her finish her statement, please.
So I read the email. But that's okay. It's all right. I understand that you like to keep a good handle on everything that's going on. And that's fine. It's just that we have developed relationships. And I think it's important that council members, if we're directly representing the citizens, have the opportunity to reach out to administrators throughout the city. If there's an issue, just pick up the phone and call them. But if we have to wait and pick up the phone and call you, and then have you decide whether you want to disseminate that information, I mean, I think that is actually kind of a waste of time. But if that's how you want it, that's fine. But maybe you should have copied us on that email also, so that we understood where you were coming from. That's all.
Any other questions or comments from the Mayor, City Director? Thank you, Mayor.
Reports and communications
from the Director of Law.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. As I noted in my last report to Council, we are intending on putting a resolution on tonight urging the legislature to pass the extension of the virtual meeting deadline. I just wanted Council to be aware that, as the Mayor indicated, that did go to the Governor's desk last week, at the end of last week, for his signature. So that is the reason we didn't find it necessary to put it on for legislation tonight, since it's already in the process of being enacted. One other item I do want to note for Council tonight is ordinance number 2020-57 is on second reading tonight. That's our temporary budget for next year. Just want all council to be aware. It's on second reading. If it goes to third reading, the next regularly scheduled council meeting on December 14th, it will not go into effect until January 14th of 2021, as ordinances do not go into effect until 30 days after their pass date. So just wanted to make council aware of that. And I have nothing else, Mr. Council President.
Any questions or
Comments for the law director? Thank you, Mr. Zealy. Communications from the council president. I don't have any.
Amendments or additions
To the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to administrators. Police Chief Ice.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't have too much tonight. As the mayor alluded to, we are hit by COVID pandemic. We've got about 5 people that are out right now. 2 of them tested positive. The other ones have had family members that have tested positive. But we're working our way through it. Like I think I mentioned already, there's going to be an increase in overtime. We can expect that between now and the end of the year or into next year, depending on how long this thing lasts. Hiring process is going well. I got 3 interviews on Wednesday evening. We arrested 2 more juveniles on Friday for rummaging through cars after midnight. Again, the cars were unlocked, so keep your cars locked. And then the governor put into place that curfew from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. And we actually saw that the effects of that this past weekend. We had no arrests over the weekend, besides those kids on Friday. We actually had almost no calls on Saturday evening because there was very, very few people out. That's all that I would have this evening.
Any questions or comments for the police chief? Thank you, Chief Ice. Fire Chief Powers.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. We've been busy, as everyone's mentioned. We're doing well internally without the coronavirus having an impact on us so far. We're transporting probably 4 COVID positive patients, known COVID positive patients a day to the hospital. Hospitals are filling up a little bit. We're working on some contingency planning should they fill up and we need to go to other hospitals, other further out hospitals. We had a pretty windstorm go through on November 15th, generated about 20 calls, mostly down power lines in the city. And in between there, a bunch of COVID calls. And then we had a pretty significant woods fire on the back of Valley at the cul-de-sac, in between the cul-de-sac of Valley View and Ridge Road. It burned quite a bit. It was a result of a utility pole that fell over and the wires caught all the brush on fire at about 2 o'clock in the morning. Pretty significant fire, burned up a couple sheds, but just when it goes unchecked and nobody sees it overnight, it can get pretty big. We had to call some mutual aid in to help us with that. Other than that, we're doing well, and we should make it through the year with the budget given to us. That's all I have, Council President.
Any questions or comments for the fire chief? Thank you, Chief Powers.
Finance Director Goals.
Thank you, Council President. Just to expand a little bit on what the law director mentioned, is that I would urge the council to consider passing the temporary budget either tonight or prior to December 1st so that it can go into effect on January 1st. If not, we have no authority to purchase or spend money to vendors or employees until the budget goes into place. So I would appreciate your consideration on that. And other than that, I have no reports.
Any questions or comments for the finance director? Thank you, Ms. Toles. Engineer Formica.
Thank you, Council President. Nothing to add to my monthly report. Homewood Avenue is moving along great. The water line was complete. As far as the main line installation, the county was out there today doing the final testing of the, for the chlorination of it. Once that is finally approved, we can make the service connections to the houses. In the meantime, the contractor's out there doing some sewer repairs. You know, every time we do a project like this, just so council knows, I'm not sure if you know, we televise the sewers. Actually, the service department did that in-house and saved us a lot of money. We televise the sewers, make sure there's no leaks, specifically the sanitary, the storm leaking into the sanitary where we have these high water bill situations. We found a couple of leaks and we're having those repaired before we put a new pavement in. So that's part of the process that we do typically. Nothing else. Sorry to ramble on there.
Any questions or comments for the city engineer? Councilor Jaworski.
Pete, have the asphalt plants closed at this point in time?
They will be by the end of the week, and we won't be ready for that. So we won't be paving till the spring.
Okay.
Doesn't plan on getting that. They'll maintain the trenches. They'll maintain whatever's open in the road and the drive aprons through the winter. And we'll, as usual, we'll be able to get it all done in the spring. That's fine.
I'm glad that the water line is at least done at this point.
Councilman Sakis?
Pete, so I know we discussed this a couple years ago, but now we got a new councilman, and I was speaking with Ms. Drake over the weekend. So I just want to touch base. I don't know if this is in committee or not, but the Pine Ridge Valley Estates, that property of land behind the golf course, all, you know, it was subdivided at one point, and I know that the sewage needs to be pumped out of there, a pump station, but are we able to develop this in the near future? It's just, I know a lot of people ask for $200,000 homes in Wickliffe too. It just seems like some prime real estate.
That would be some expensive homes. Yeah, in fact, the mayor brought that up when he first came on board and was like, gee, we have this property. Why don't we try to do something with it? I did contact a few developers. In fact, one of the developers, I believe, Mr. Berzin, who actually his name is on one of those streets. His father developed that or set up that property to be developed, or kind of did some preliminary design on it. The amount of work it would take to make that a developable piece of property for all those lots, it's not, with the wetlands and all the other regulations that are involved right now, it's just not worth any developer coming in. We've sent that out to probably 4 different developers saying, hey, we have this property, you interested? Not a one response.
Yeah, I was talking about it and a little bit of hope, so. Okay, no, thank you for explaining it to those that didn't know about
No problem.
it.
Any other questions or comments for the city engineer?
Thank you.
Service Director Strouser.
Thank you, Council President. I wanted to bring up, I know that Debbie and the mayor brought up, but last month, the sewer bill from the city of Euclid had an increase of $150,000 for 1 month. It was, the month before was $128,000, and last month it was $280,000. I called the service director from the city of Euclid. We went over that there was 11 straight days of rain. And we went over actually all the meter readings that they do. They do meter readings there twice a week. And during those 11 days, pretty much the whole bill went up by almost that $150,000 with the amount of infiltration we're getting into our sanitary sewer. So I do believe that it's something we need to look at. And this was a one-time thing this year. This is the first time it's happened. We actually took some readings since then. And they've gone back down into the normal usage area. But that is a significant amount of increase. I mean, that's 2 guys for us for a whole year. So it's something we need to look at, and I am in total agreement with the mayor. We either look into smoke testing, or if I can approve some, my guys going out during the rainstorms and stuff like that, and we're going to camera the sewer mains and see if we can, locate some big sources of infiltration. But we did want to bring that up, at least you're aware of that. And then also on council, on the agenda tonight, there's a piece of legislation. It's $31,000 for a company called Classen Construction. That's for the initial phase of repairs at the pool. Now, this is not going to include all the repairs at the pool, but we felt that this is a good place to start. And basically what the contractor is telling me is that, we really don't know what we have until we start tearing it apart. So $31,000 is going to get us started. I would imagine we're probably going to be more in the $40,000 range by the time we're done, but I wanted to at least get something going, and we're going to actually try and start on that here in the next couple of weeks. So that's about it. Leaf brick pickup, we did finish the second round of leaf pickup today. We finally finished the last round, and we started the third round. We did start the third round on the south side today, and so far so good. I believe this round is going to be a little less volume of leaves than the last one, but still going to be considerably heavy. And that's all I have.
Any questions or comments for the service director? Councilman Gerhardstein.
Hey, Ron, when you were last month, you were talking about staffing. How many guys do you feel you're understaffed in the service department, either service workers or the auto mechanics?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely feel comfortable being around 20 guys. That's definitely.
So how many are you short then?
And we have 17 right now. The mayor did give us the okay to hire one guy. We're in the process, and unfortunately, I do have COVID, so I've been quarantining myself, and that kind of put that hiring on a little bit of a holding pattern. But I'm good to go. But it was a pretty rough 10 days for me. Yeah, so we are in the process of hiring someone right now, and that will bring us back to 18 guys, and I would at least like to have 20.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions or comments for the service director?
Council President,
Councilman, Mr. Formica?
could I add two things to Ron's report? Number one, part of our services, we go out once a quarter to double check that meter and make sure it jives up with Euclid is telling us, so that we make sure we're getting the right numbers. We've found errors in the past, but it's been good for the last few years. We haven't found anything, but once a quarter we go out and double check that meter. And the other thing is, this guy that was just talking was in the emergency room last week, and he's calling me about Wickliffe stuff. With COVID. I mean, what a dedicated employee. I applaud you, Ron. Thank you.
Thank you, Pete.
Any other questions or comments for the service director? Councilwoman Saloto.
Yes, I just wanted to thank you for an amazing leaf pickup so far. Honestly, I mean, a lot of people were really counting on it. I know we were, and you guys did a great job, and it seems as if it's going along great with this third round. I really appreciate all you guys are doing, and I am so happy you are doing so much better. You look great.
Thank you.
For the
Appreciate
wear
it.
around. But yeah,
Appreciate it.
thank you so much for your dedication, honestly. But please take it easy. Okay.
I will.
Any further questions or comments for the service director? Councilman Jaworski.
Ron, I mean, considering that we're about to head into winter at this point in time, is now really the best time to start chopping up that building, looking for problems that are going to be concrete or cinder block or mortar related, when the contractor wouldn't even be able to address those because the temperature is going to be so low that they can't mix that stuff? I mean, should this be now put off realistically until the end of March, beginning of April, at that point in time when the normal trial trades get back out to the job sites?
I do believe that we at least want to get a tour into it. We're not going to do anything where, first of all, if it's in the inside column, the main column that's damaged, we have some setups where we're going to tarp it, and we have some portable heaters that we are going to heat the area. And if it gets too cold, yeah, we're just going to disband. We're not going to be doing masonry work in the middle of winter and not having it being able to cure. That's for sure. So if it isn't the inside area, we will not be addressing that this fall. But I did want to at least get into it so that the contractor knows what they're in for, and that we can make sure that we have I'm hoping and anticipating the pool is open next year. So I really would like to get this at least in the works so we can get some progress made over there.
I understand. I just wouldn't want to see it get worse because it's exposed during the wintertime.
Yeah, I wouldn't let that happen for sure. Yeah. The damage is already done, but I would like to at least get into the core part of it to see how deep it goes.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any further questions or comments for the service director? Thank you, Brother.
Thank you.
Commissioner Sack.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. I just got a few things. True Line's got all their flat work, their cement work in their building and their outside work. That's all completed. Lake Tran is still going through some flat work also. PCC Airfoils has that little addition going, and there's a lot of things going on, a lot of residential sewers and flat work also. That's all I have for my report, Mr. Council President.
Any questions for John? Commissioner? Thank you, Rick. Recreation Director Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. I just want a quick comment with the spike in the COVID cases. We had to change how we did our turkey hunt this past Saturday. We ended up partnering with the Family Resource Center at the high school to distribute some of our resources. But I wanted to once again thank Lubrizol for their support. They made a $500 donation, so that went far in helping out a lot of families. That's it.
Any questions or comments for the Recreation Director? Councilwoman Cox.
Tell Mr. Bogo to turn off his microphone because we're getting a lot of bouncy feedback stuff.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments for the Recreation Director? Thank you, Tim. Economic Development Manager Drake.
Thank you, Council President. Happy to report Debbie got everybody's checks out last week. There were 50 that were delivered. I've been receiving phone calls and emails from our some of the recipients who are very, very grateful for that. So thank you everyone for approving it and everybody that worked so hard to make it happen. It's been great for the community. Also, I sent everybody an email, but just reporting out for the public, we did receive an email where the Cleveland Foundation's focus at this point has been COVID related, and therefore we will not be asked to proceed moving forward with a grant application. So I know that Matt will be discussing the RFP later, but I just wanted to let everybody know that and look forward to answering any questions.
Any questions or comments for the Economic Development Manager? Councilwoman Koski.
I was just wondering, those checks that were sent out, did everyone receive the same amount? What was it? No.
Everyone yes, okay. Everyone received the maximum that they were able to be reimbursed. So not everybody received the full $5,000. There were 4 people that did not, but they did receive the maximum that they had requested for reimbursement.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments for the Economic Development Manager? Councilwoman Saloto.
Monica, and Debbie both, and Mayor, I just want to thank you guys because that really did help a lot of businesses. I've heard from several, including, my sister at Vittorio's, and they really appreciated. Certainly, this has been tough for everybody, really tough. And I appreciate all that you guys did to step up and bring this to the businesses of the city. Thank you. And so quickly, too. Appreciate it.
Any further questions or comments for the Economic Development Manager? Thank you, Monica. I will now open the floor for audience participation. This portion of the meeting allows the audience to address the council and mayor, not the directors. If anyone would like to address Wickliffe City Council, please state your name and address for the clerk's record. Would anyone like to address Wickliffe City Council? Mr. Cable?
Dan Cable, 29247 Waldenza. I am the coordinator of the petition effort to create a special election to remove the mayor. The constitutional rights of the 874 valid signers and many more that still want to sign, we believe purposefully illegally prevented from moving forward by Law Director Zelli. 2 weeks ago, our lawyer Mark Giudetti sent an email to Mr. Zelli pointing out his mistakes in judgment with regard to our petition. Even though several emails since, Mr. Zelli has not addressed the issues brought up in the case law that was presented. Because of the purposeful intransigence on the part of Mr. Zelli, on behalf of the mayor, 874 citizens' constitutional rights are being illegally prevented from being exercised. Mr. Zelli has steadfastly refused so far to even address the issues that we and our lawyers have found. We ask the council to force the law director to both respond to our legal arguments and state why he thinks his are correct, so the council and the council clerk can evaluate the validity of what he did in ignoring the obvious law defined in our city charter. We prefer to do this through council rather than the courts, as the city has already wasted so much taxpayer funds in the courts due to bad decisions from this mayor. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to address Wickliffe City Council? Would anyone else like to address Wickliffe City Council? If not, I'll mark audience participation closed. Committee reports. Councilman Jaworski.
That's not it.
You can unmute yourself first.
I'm trying to find it.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. I'm trying to pull up the report right here on my pad, but it's not coming up. Thank you. Euclid Avenue Economic Development Committee met on November 16th. President Jaworski, Sakis, Sloto, Bogo, Koski, Levon, Barbish, Economic Development Director Blake, Engineer Formica, and Building Commissioner Sack. Meeting called to order at 7:01 p.m. The committee discussed the scoring for the Euclid Avenue development request for proposals. Economic Development Director Drake provided an overview of the scoring system. Based on the combined total scoring of all committee members, OHM came out with the top score. She's comfortable working with them and believes they will do a good job. Councilwoman Sloto said she was excited by the types of past projects OHM has previously worked on. And Councilman Bogo and Sakis both indicated they are good with OMH as well. The committee unanimously agrees to recommend the OHM RFP to the Finance Committee, and this item is reported out of committee. Meeting adjourned at 7:10 p.m. Respectfully submitted.
Okay, so we will put the Euclid Avenue Economic Development RFP into the Finance Committee, and I will call for a meeting on December 7th, Monday, December 7th at 7 p.m. for the Finance Committee. Any other committee reports? Any commission reports? Seeing no old business, moving to new business. December 28th council meeting. Typically, we move this up for the council to the third week because of the holidays. So I would just need entertain a motion to move the second meeting in December 21st.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Jaworski, second by Councilman Bogo to move the scheduled December meeting council meeting to December 21st.
Discussion?
Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Yes.
Gerhardstein,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Koski,
Yes.
Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Soloto.
Yes.
Mayor's appointment to Parks and Rec Commission.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Filling a vacancy, would like to appoint Marty Adams to the Parks and Rec Commission with a term to expire. Again, this is another short one, filling the vacancy, 12/31 of 2020.
Councilwoman Kowski.
Wait a minute, so how long is the term?
The term's up this December, and this is the same with the last gentleman I appointed to a commission, and then I'll just reappoint these folks for full terms. We had a lot of folks, for one reason or other, drop off commissions this year, whether it's to moving, time commitments. So we still have to appoint that person to fill the vacancy, and then I'll just, in January, I'll reappoint these folks to full terms.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to affirm the mayor's appointment of Marty Adams with a term to the Parks and Rec Commission with a term to expire December 31st, 2020.
Second.
Moved by Council President Bond, second by Council Secretary to reaffirm the mayor's appointment of Marty Adams to the Parks and Rec Commission with a term to expire December 31st, 2020. Discussion. Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Yes.
Gerhardstein,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Kosky,
Hello, yes.
there you go, thank you, Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Deloto,
Yes.
Ordinances.
Ordinance number 2020-57, an ordinance providing temporary appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio for the period beginning January 1st, 2021 and ending March 31st, 2021. Second reading. Ordinance number 2020-62, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of one new Hallow Fogger extension disinfection system with related equipment and decontamination solution for use by the Wickliffe Police Department and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Sakis, second by Councilman Bogo to suspend the rules of council and place ordinance 2020-62 on third and final reading. Discussion.
Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Yes.
Gerhardstein,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Kosky,
Yes.
Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Deloto,
Yes.
Adoption.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Gerhardstein, seconded by Councilman Sakis to adopt ordinance 2020-62 as presented. Discussion. Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Yes.
Gerhardstein,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Kosky,
Yes.
Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Deloto,
Yes.
Ordinance number 2020-63, an ordinance providing appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio for the period beginning January 1st, 2020 and ending December 31st, 2020 and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Sakis, seconded by Councilman Gerhardstein to suspend the rules of council and place ordinance 2020-63 on third and final reading. Discussion.
Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Yes.
Gerhardstein,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Kosky,
Yes.
Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Deloto,
Yes.
Adoption.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Sakis, seconded by Councilman Bogo to adopt ordinance 2020-63 as presented. Discussion. Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Yes.
Gerhardstein,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Kosky,
Yes.
Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Deloto,
Yes.
Adoption.
Second.
No, I think we did that.
Oh, we already did it.
Did we just not adopt it already?
Yes.
I'll
So
get ready for Scott.
we're on for Scott to read 2020. Scott, you're on mute.
Ordinance number 2020-64, an ordinance authorizing the Director of Finance of the City of Wickliffe, Ohio, to adjust expenses from various funds and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Sackett, second by Councilman Bogo, to suspend the rules of council and place ordinance 2020-64 on third and final reading. Discussion. Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Yes.
Gerhardstein,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Kosky,
Yes.
Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Deloto,
Yes.
Adoption.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Bogo, second by Councilman Sackis, to adopt ordinance 2020-64 as presented. Discussion. Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Yes.
Gerhardstein,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Kosky,
Yes.
Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Deloto,
Yes.
Ordinance number 2020-65, an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio, to enter into a contract with Jake Klassen for initial masonry repairs to the building at the Wickliffe Aquatic Center and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Sackis, seconded by Councilman Bogo, to suspend the rules of council and place ordinance 2020-65 on third and final reading. Discussion. Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Yes.
Gerhardstein,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Kosky,
Yes.
Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Deloto,
Yes.
Adoption.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Sackis, seconded by Councilwoman Saloto, to adopt ordinance 2020-65 as presented. Discussion. Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Yes.
Gerhardstein,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Kosky,
Yes.
Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Deloto,
Yes.
Resolution number 2020-23, a resolution requesting the Lake County Auditor to make advance payments of taxes, second reading. Resolution number 2020-24, a resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio, to submit an application to the District 7 Public Works Committee and the Ohio Public Works Commission for funding for the Lakeland Boulevard pavement improvements, Phase 1, and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Sackis, seconded by Councilman Bogo, to suspend the rules of council and place resolution 2020-24 on third and final reading. Discussion. Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Yes.
Gerhardstein,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Kosky,
Yes.
Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Deloto,
Yes.
Adoption.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Sackis, seconded by Councilwoman Saloto, to adopt resolution 2020-24 as presented. Discussion. Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Yes.
Gerhardstein,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Kosky,
Yes.
Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Deloto,
Yes.
Resolution number 2020-26, a resolution recognizing Patrick Hengst on his retirement from the city of Wickliffe, Ohio as lieutenant for the Wickliffe Police Department, commending his dedicated service and wishing him good fortune and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Bogo, second by Councilman Sakis, to suspend the rules of council and place resolution 2020-25 on third and final reading. Discussion?
President?
Say, oh, we're going to do it during the adoption. Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Yes.
Gerhardstein,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Kosky,
Yes.
Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Adoption.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Gerhardstein, second by Councilman Sakis, to adopt resolution 2020-25 as presented. Discussion? Police Chief, did you want to say something?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. This is Pat's the third person that's retired in the last couple of months. Pat was in charge of our detective bureau for the last 13 years, and he's one of the best investigators in the county. He ended up taking a position as the director of Lake County Narcotics Agency, so he's basically like the chief of that organization. This is a a good comment on our police department. We've had other people that have been out there. Joe Matteo is the chief investigator for the prosecutor's office. And we had Jamie Walsh, that was a technician for the Lake County Crime Lab. This is just another extension of the quality of the people that we turn out here. So Pat will be missed. I'll see him on a regular basis because I'm on that board, so I'll see him on a regular basis and keep in touch with him. But I want to wish him well in his future, and I'm sure he'll do well out there.
Councilman Sakis.
Well, first I'd like to say, Pat, Detective Hanks, thank you so much for your service. I mean, you have really helped contribute to taking a lot of not so good Samaritans off of these streets. I've called you numerous times with issues regarding drugs, other things, and you've always been there to help the resident at ease and take care and handle problems. Thank you so much. Good luck on your next journey and your next adventure in life. Thank you.
Any further discussion or comments? Councilman Gerhardstein.
I've known Pat for a long time, and I just want to wish him good luck in the future and in his new career. We'll miss you around the city, Pat. Thank you.
Any further discussion or comments? I just want to definitely thank Pat as well. I think he's been extremely vital for the past 30 years on the police force, and we appreciate it, all he's done for us.
Thank you also.
Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Yes.
Gerhardstein,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Kosky,
Yes.
Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Other legislation? Miscellaneous? I'll entertain a motion to move into executive session.
I'll make a motion. Second.
Moved by Councilman Sakis, second by Councilman Gerhardstein, to move into executive session to discuss pending litigation. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Bogo,
Yes.
Gerhardstein,
Yes.
Jaworski,
Yes.
Kosky,
Yes.
Levon,
Yes.
Sakis,
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
All right, let me find you and I'll make you the host.
I'm on my way down.
I'm sorry, so moved by Councilman Sakis, seconded by Councilman Jaworski to reconvene the meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And a motion for adjournment.
I make a motion, we adjourn. Second.
Moved by Councilman Bogo, seconded by Councilman Gerhardstein to adjourn the meeting. Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
And, no meeting next Monday, right?
No.